Hi everyone, SaneMan here. This video is brought to you by a more than generous donation from Nathan, and this is the fourth video of 5 that I'm dedicating to him. Today's adventure leads us to a Reddit post that shares the same name as the title of this video, and I've also put it in the description. Here's what someone named L10Rub has to say, and I quote, "Let me explain. We men are what we are. Virtuous, hardworking, independent, giving, caring, protecting, blah blah blah. Before the red pill, we believed our endeavors were noble, that we were being men. Once I discovered the red pill, I was pissed on a number of levels. Understanding women's true nature was a tough pill, but a pill it was nonetheless, and it had to be taken. But then what? All of our motivations to do what we do are rendered worthless. Why continue to toil and sacrifice, etc. for people who simply do not give a flying F about you? Your whole belief system is shattered, but maybe this is where things start. Looking externally for value and affirmation is the wrong route. We have to look inside and find our purpose, our true value. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but once you begin to look and filter out the nonsense, things become clearer. Instead of raging at or hoping to find the unicorn, completely remove yourself from the matrix and walk on. I feel more calm and at peace now than I've ever done in my entire life. Everything makes sense and I'm not fighting battles every day." Unquote. I'll get to my thoughts about this and more in just a moment. But let me first tell everyone about today's sponsor, the MGTOW's Guide to Retiring on $200K in Southeast Asia. Luca Vendetti is the author. He left the West taking his savings with him and achieving his goal of retirement at the age of 33. The book shows you how you can easily do the same and easily create a passive monthly income covering your expenses in Southeast Asia. It's a great book for someone like Vention MGTOW. Instead of heading to Asia and feeling overwhelmed, he could have read this and know a little bit more about what he was getting himself into. Maybe you as a man were meant to be drinking dirty martinis on the beach, taking Polaroids of ladyboys, if that's what you're into. What have you actually got to lose except your slavery to the corporate veal fattening pens? Visit MGTOWbooks.com and use the promo code SANDMAN to get 10% off. Now available in 4 formats: PDF, Mobi for Kindle, EPUB, and text-to-speech MP3. Anyways, now back to the video. After you take the red pill and go through the red pill rage, why would you toil and sacrifice for people that don't care about you? For myself, I know that once I went my own way, it finally gave me an excuse to be selfish in my own life for the first time. I asked myself the question, what do I actually want from life? Of course, I already knew the answer to that question, but never really gave myself permission to give myself the things that I wanted. When I tried getting the things I wanted before, I was shamed for being selfish. MGTOW led to a level of enlightenment where I no longer felt shame to do the things that I wanted. I didn't have to ask anyone permission to do them, and I found that I didn't have anyone there to slow me down. There were 2 parts of me in conflict for which purpose I should actually pursue in my life: a family or trying to change the world. MGTOW resolved that conflict for me because it showed me that relationships and family were not something I was constituted for. Because after living with women, I would literally go insane. MGTOW offered me the relief from having to make that choice between being in a relationship or being single. But for many guys, they bought into the life purpose of sacrificing their lives for others. So losing their purpose is a very scary thing. So I can understand why they would be depressed and anxious when the rug of reality was pulled from under their feet, with nothing more than the truth about female nature. They feel depressed and like there's nothing they can do to get out of it. L10Rub made peace with the truth that his old purpose to marry a land whale that looks more like a porpoise than a human is dead and gone. For him, I wouldn't say it's enlightenment. It's more like a burden has been lifted off his shoulders. A burden the size of a bag of plastic dicks, to be exact. He can finally relax. Will his relaxed mood last, or will he get ants in his pants to find meaning and purpose in life? Every guy's different. So for some, sitting around and doing nothing watching the world go by is more than enough. While for someone like myself, I have to find the balance between keeping busy and not doing anything at all, or my brain begins to eat itself. I must be cursed because just as I solve one health problem, I get another. I'm playing whack-a-mole with my health, it seems. For example, when I get stressed, anxious, or excited for more than an hour a day, my lips start burning like they're on fire, and they become inflamed. I wonder if I have something called burning mouth syndrome, a condition that has no obvious reason. But I don't want to bog you guys down with these sort of details. As men, we need something to motivate us to produce. The reason should go beyond simply reproduction and simply to survive. We should produce because we want to improve our lives and the lives of everyone on this planet, to alleviate the suffering in this world today, but also to be aware that if we use technology to end certain types of suffering, our behavior has the unintended consequence of creating new forms of suffering. And then when we work out a problem to that new suffering, we replace it with yet more suffering. The cycle keeps going and going, but it forces us to progress technologically and philosophically. Speaking of enlightenment, another thing I wanted to discuss in this video is something that I've linked to in the description about communism and Marxism, and they're both worth watching. Communists believe that communism will come about when capitalism enters its late stage and finally destroys itself. Communists believe that everything is about the almighty class struggle, as well as social justice. It made me think that women claim that they're the ones that are being oppressed and men are the oppressors, which I believe to be nothing more than their own projection. They are the owning class because they use our love against us to own us. They own us when they divorce us and use our offspring against us. We are the means of production and they're the bourgeoisie. If we could somehow convince the communists out there of this, then there's a good chance that they would actually turn against feminism and see women as the oppressors. But that would be too much for them because they need allies in their battle, which amounts to nothing more than useful idiots for their cause. It could also be too much cognitive dissonance for them. MGTOW also probably bothers them because it proves that there is social mobility for men out there if they don't drag along a vagina with a cute smile wherever they go and whatever they do. I now understand why they hate Trump, because he created tons of jobs before the coup and proved that the idea of late-stage capitalism is not something that can be proven so concretely. After all, how can people get wealthier and wealthier if the capitalists want to impoverish everyone while waving their magic money wand and raising all the prices? Instead of late-stage capitalism, I think we're entering late-stage feminism, a situation where women are making themselves so unattractive that men will replace them with more efficient machines. But the communists are right about one thing. The capitalists are trying to financialize the economy and are trying to prevent the forces of innovation and technological deflation from lowering the cost of the means of production. Take media production, for example. I can say whatever I want on the internet on YouTube, if I'm still here by the time this video comes out. The means of media production have also become so cheap that everyone has a TV studio in their home, and the communists that control the corporate media are losing their minds as a result of this, and trying to turn the social justice mob against freedom of speech so they can survive. I can't believe I was agreeing with the Marxists on a few points here and there. I see big tech companies as trying to stifle innovation so they decide who has a voice and who doesn't, hence limiting who gets to listen to my media production in the marketplace of ideas. MGTOW philosophy has enlightened me enough to see the world in shades of gray, that it's possible to piece together the best aspects of capitalism and communism and create something fair and right with checks and balances. America was like that for the longest time until we saw the meddling from the Fed. My belief is that we have to motivate people to innovate without them monies nor the honeys. The one major criticism I have of Marxism is that it says societies evolved from feudalism to then capitalism and then to early and then advanced stage communism. It's like it doesn't leave the possibility open that there would be something better than advanced communism that comes along and replaces it. That's in stark contrast to what many capitalists say when they mention that capitalism isn't perfect, but it's the best system we have up until now. I just think there has to be a way to unite the communists and the capitalists together into something united. Communists also believe that China has decided to go to capitalism right now to help it evolve towards advanced communism. The reason that communism needs capitalism as a foundation is because it requires sufficient amounts of stuff to loot from people to keep the citizenry happy. But eventually people will stop innovating if a street sweeper is rewarded with the same money and trophy that a rocket scientist receives. Eventually the good stuff that was built will fall apart, and it'll need capitalists to create stuff to be stolen again. So the cycle always repeats. Increasingly, I see that as the future. A constant economic shift back and forth between the two. Kind of like political parties on the left and right taking turns in the White House. I also realized that if I could somehow convince both communists and capitalists that women are the oppressors of men by freeing men from them, that would nearly end all our problems. Consumerism over consumption of useless things like fancy pants and stiletto shoes would all collapse. Men would look for another purpose besides money to attract women, which to get real is something that men do in both systems to attract the dames. Men would produce as a means to fulfill that purpose instead of fulfilling their biological imperative. But if the communists have their way, then poor countries still have to go through the late-stage capitalism before they can get to true communism. So my scheme of leaving and living in Eastern Europe for at least half a year and spreading my capital out between two countries isn't all that bad of an idea. The idea from each according to his ability to each according to his need will never work, and it's insane. If I have the ability but I'm not rewarded for it, why would I use my ability? Unless not using it means not fulfilling my greater purpose and being forced to go through some sort of existential crisis. If communists want men to produce and innovate, and not expect anything in return, then what they need to do is red pill men. Also, giving each according to his need is crazy, because how can you be sure someone is telling you the truth about their need? After all, I might need a Lamborghini to get a woman out of her bikini. So according to that, I need that car, and it needs to be provided to me. But if technology replaces reproduction and sexual relations, then I can't justify that as a need now, can I? Communists also believe in making everyone equal with regards to social class. But what about all the other aspects of human nature? Creativity, looks, intelligence. If we were all equal, then we would amount to nothing more than a colony of ants. I want to go my own way, and so should every man. But communists seem to want everyone to go their way and only their way, for us to not have the ability to choose how individualistic we want to be. Sounds to me like they're a bunch of control-freak Borg drones that would love to turn humans into tools for the state, and nothing more. In one of the videos I shared in the description, the guy in it says that the democracies of the future in America will make their decisions based on what the blue checkmark mob on Twitter, as well as social media in general, want, based on who's the loudest, most angry, and gets the most attention. That sounds like putting the Borg collective in charge of civilization. That's not enlightenment. That's people's feelings ruling society. Actually, it's more about the people manipulating the feelings of that online mob that will actually be doing all the ruling. Why do you think that CNN is constantly trying to whip everyone up into a frenzy, instead of reporting real news anymore? I think the writing is on the wall. I think our rulers want emotional women to decide what happens in our society. But the reason they'll get so emotional in the first place is because they'll be whipped up by the media. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks again, Nathan, for the more than generous donation, and I hope you enjoyed the topic. Don't forget to smash the like button the way the communists want to smash enlightened men going their own way out of existence by sending us to the gulags. Bang that bell and check out the mystery link. Follow me on BitChute, Twitter, and Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Subscribe to me on Minds and Gap to get the video for the day after tomorrow. This channel's been demonetized, so if you want to get back at corporate censors, demonetize them by taking away their ad dollars by installing the Brave browser. Link is down below. It also helps me out and you get cryptocurrency for viewing ads as well. You can also help me out through Subscribestar. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills, and remember, a red pill a day keeps the re-education camps designed to brainwash red pill men into getting married away. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers. Now you can order and pay for dolls through 6 easy monthly payments so long as your credit is approved. Francesca is the favorite of many guys. How about Xena? She's certainly going to make your life full of wonder. You can also play patty cake with Jessica Rabbit if you prefer. Maybe this Tinkerbell will make you swell. Their futanari attachments also fit most dolls. If you have to ask about that, then it's not for you. What are you waiting for? It's time to trade shekels for some silicone jigglies. So lifelike you'll want to take all of them for a ride on your swing swang. Check out the YouTube channel as well as the website down below.